What's happening? What's good? What's going on? Part of my presence YouTube channel. Breaking news, breaking news. Jonathan Majors has been found guilty of assault and harassment of his former girlfriend by the name of Grace Jabbari. If you're not familiar with who Jonathan Majors is, he is someone who is probably one of the few breakout stars in the past 2 years. I personally saw him for the first time in the movie Harder They Come, but I didn't really remember his character that much or even knew who he was at that time. But he became someone that I was familiar with in the movie Devotion when he played a black war hero who was a pilot in the Korean War. That's when he first came onto my radar, and I probably saw him as someone who had a bright future ahead of him. Then he started doing movies with Marvel, Ant-Man, The Dynasty of Kang, and then he had his breakout movie with Michael B. Jordan and Creed 3. Now, when all of those things started coming out as far as these movies, it was said that he was going to be the next star, the next Denzel, the person who was of African-American descent, the person who was, as many people say, a foundational black American, someone who's going to take the torch from Denzel Washington and push the culture, I guess you could say, forward in regards to the black male actor and the depth that they could show on the big screen. So once it became accepted that Jonathan Majors was going to be the next torchbearer from the likes of Denzel Washington, it became clear that he was going to need a counterpart, a partner that would exemplify their characteristics and grace of people like a Coretta Scott King, a Betty Shabazz, Michelle Obama, and as a result of that, he decided it was best to look for those characteristics, look for those types of personalities in a white woman. And this is where things started to go awry. Because at some point earlier in the year, the story broke that there was an altercation between Jonathan Majors and his then girlfriend Grace Jabbari, where there was an altercation in a taxi cab and there was a fight or a struggle between the two, and it resulted in her getting bruises on her arms, her back, and her face. And also, I believe Jonathan Majors also suffered some cuts and bruises as well too. And as a result of this evidence of an altercation, of a fight, Jonathan Majors was charged, and that was the leading story the next day in all the tabloids, on TMZ, and all the other blogs that you could find on Instagram. That was the big story. Jonathan Majors has assaulted his girlfriend. But that didn't really tell the whole picture, because apparently his girlfriend had an issue with the text messages that she saw, because apparently he was stepping out on her with another woman. Maybe a woman that reminds him of Coretta Scott King, Betty Shabazz, Michelle Obama. We don't know, but apparently that, excuse me, that woman was none other than Megan Good. Now, say what you want to say about Megan Good. She's definitely a step up from Grace Jabbari in terms of someone who exemplifies the essence, the presence, the grace and character of a Coretta Scott King, Betty Shabazz, Michelle Obama. But was it worth it? Was this altercation worth it? Was there a way where this all could have been settled without him having to get into an altercation with this woman? Could he have just walked away? Because I tell all men, if you get into an argument with a woman, if she's going crazy, if she's getting insane and she wants to put hands on you, don't fight back. Don't even try to hold on to her. Walk away. But then when I saw the footage come out, this man was walking for blocks upon blocks upon blocks. This man was taking strides down the street. He almost lapped her. That's how fast he was going. And she tried to catch up. She's jogging. He ducks and goes around the corner, bends the right, bends the left, and she's keeping up. And he's walking and walking and walking, trying to get away from this woman, but she keeps following him. It was a crazy scene. I saw the video, you saw the footage, so you know how it looked. It looked crazy. But this was something that was captured on video. There's charges that are being pressed. It's in New York City. You are a famous black man with a white woman who you apparently assaulted somehow. they were going to press charges and they were going to take it to the fullest extent of the law and have a trial. And that's exactly what happened. Now, I want to read you the article in regards to this guilty verdict, and I can get into more details from there. So let's read this article. I'm going to read it midway through, okay? It says here that the crime took place when a couple were in a car in New York City, and Mr. Jabbari saw a text message from another woman on Major's phone which said, "Wish I was kissing you right now." According to the prosecutors, when she took the phone, this is his girlfriend at that time, when she took the phone, he then grabbed her, twisted her arm behind her back, and hit her in the head to get it back. "I felt like a hard blow across my head," Mr. Jabbari testified. And I'm going to get into that as well, too, as far as the testimony. The jury found him guilty of 2 of the 4 domestic violence charges that he was facing. He was found guilty of assault by recklessly causing physical injury as well as harassment. But the jury declined to convict him on charges of aggravated harassment and assault with the intent to cause physical harm. So in other words, the jury saying, no, you didn't mean to harm her. It wasn't a intentional harassment, but your actions on that day caused physical harm. So therefore, it does equate to an assault. And because apparently there were some other issues as far as him calling her and then also threatening to kill himself, because here's what it says here. It goes on to say, the prosecution painted the assault as the latest escalation in Major's attempt to exert control over his girlfriend through the physical and emotional violence. They showed shared voice recordings and text messages between the former couple with the jury. In one of the text messages, it says, "I'm a monster, a horrible man, not capable of love." The actor sent this text message in September of 2022 while threatening to kill himself. And also there was an audio from an argument in that same month where Majors told her that she needed to act more like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama and the wives are Martin Luther King and President Barack Obama. "I'm doing great things, not just for me, but for my culture and the world," he said, adding that she would need to make sacrifices for him. Majors did not testify. His lawyer argued that the actor was the victim and that Mr. Jabbari assaulted him in a jealous rage after seeing text messages in the car. Now, we've seen this already where a black man on trial is sketchy as to what happened, but yet the black man doesn't take the stand to clear his own name. And it seems to be a tactic that the lawyer pushes on them, and they don't push the lawyer to say, put me on the stand so I can speak on my behalf and I can tell my story. So there's so many things wrong with this. Number one, you shouldn't be looking for a white woman to be Coretta Scott King in the first place. Number two, if you're trying to push the culture, if you're trying to be this great person and looking for a great sidekick, and if you feel that it has to be for your culture and for this movement for the world, then you might want to choose someone who's not a drunk, someone who doesn't physically assault you, someone who you're not cheating on, because you're not going to take over the world if you're cheating on your spouse. You're going to end up in problems such as this one. Now, this is what I want to say to people in regards to dealing with an ex or someone who you're looking to end a relationship with. Move away from them as soon as possible. Don't give them any hints. Cut shit off. Have your stuff moved by somebody else. You take yourself out of the situation. You have the money, you have the resources, you have people working for you. You should never have to sit foot in the same apartment as this person again. You shouldn't have to ride in the same Uber as this person again. Get your assistants, your gophers, your buddies that you used to hang out with, and let them pick up all of your belongings and do everything that they need to do, and you keep yourself 3 distances removed from the person so they can never accuse you of anything. You have to be smart, you have to be tactful, and you have to be determined to protect your name, to protect your career, and ultimately protect your legacy. Because as you can see now, based on Disney dropping him, there's going to be other people dropping him as well too. I believe his agent and the people that was a part of his talent agency already dropped him. So he's going to run into more problems as a result of this guilty verdict. And the last thing I want to say in regards to Jonathan Majors, because a lot of people online are making this claim that, well, he should have known better. Mess around with the snow bunnies. This is what you get. This ain't our business. I'm not in it. We told y'all already. Black men need to do better in regards to who they select as their partners. All of that stuff that they're saying. But here's one thing I want to say. They also say that the system protects white women, or the system is going to always place the white woman on a pedestal before a black man or a black woman. They always say those things, and they always say white people stick together. Well, this is what I want to challenge everybody on, okay? If you are someone who subscribes to, tribalism, and you're on the side of black people, you want to do things for black people in the culture, this is a pivotal moment, because regardless of what these crimes are, it doesn't take away from Jonathan Majors' talent. It doesn't take away from his skill set. He is still the same Jonathan Majors that can act, that has range, that is still a sex symbol, that can still bring people to the seats. So there needs to be people around him, or people who are quote-unquote tastemakers in the black industry, people who claim to be supporters of black economics, black actors, black businesses, and they need to scoop Jonathan Majors, put them under their wing, and give him work as much as possible until he is fully redeemed in the eyes of the rest of society. And it has to be us that does it. And we have Oprah, who has the money and the finances to do it. You have Tyler Perry, who has the resources and the studios to create movies with Jonathan Majors as the lead. You have Lee Daniels, who could write the script and direct. You have Ava DuVernay. You have people who can help Jonathan Majors in the time of need. Because we all know he's being shafted here, but we also know that he's a talented brother. And if you feel that people like Robert Downey Jr. gets to get a pass, or gets to, rehabilitate and come back and become the Hollywood darling again, of course they're going to do it for them, because that's their boy, that's their man. So when are we going to say Jonathan Majors is our man? When are we going to say we're going to take Jonathan Majors and bring him back again? We're going to put him in our movies. We're going to make him the leading star. We're going to get people to fill the seats, not just fill up the seats for Black Panther, not just fill up the seats for, the Little Mermaid with a black face on it. Let's really fill the seats for black movies that are financed by black people, by black companies. You have Will Smith that could be involved in this as well too, with Overbrook and his production company. So there are resources available to still make him a star, if not in white society, in our society. And that should be the next step in regards to this, because no one is going to put this guy in a major film anymore. And if we don't step up to help him when he has a talent, when he has a skill set, then he's going to fall by the wayside. And that's not what we want from this guy who was just a few minutes ago one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. It would be a shame if his talent goes to waste, because we don't want to come together and help. So my call to action is for all those people that I mentioned: Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, Ava DuVernay, whoever else has the power to do something. Step up. Will Packer, step up. Bring him in. He's with Megan Good. I know Megan Good has all the links, all the connections to the B movies, to the B shows. So she could hook him up as well too. Even hook him up with her ex-husband, who's a director or a producer. The point I'm making is, he's us, he is ours. We need to step up and help him if everyone else wants to kick his back in. And that's how I feel. That's the word of the day. You let me know how you feel about this. Leave it in the comment section. You can subscribe. You can hit the like button, all that good stuff. But until next time, part of my presence YouTube channel. Next move, best move. Hopefully the next move for Jonathan Majors is going to be the best move Hopefully people who have the power and the resources could help him and bring him in and make him a star, if not in Hollywood, in Nollywood, or in Black Hollywood, wherever the case may be. But we could do this on our own if we really want to. Let's step up and not kick his back in. Let's step up and support him and to bring him up and to prop him up and make him the star and make him the actor that we know he can be. Peace.